Hey guys, and welcome to a quick little tutorial I'm going to do. This is basically how to main bus properly, aka the priority splitter. So basically what we're trying to do here is on your main bus, what you normally do is you've got your 4 lanes, and these can be iron, copper, whatever. Let's drop some iron. So you've got your iron that's coming along your main bus. It comes along and you want to split some off, so what you do is you put a little splitter down the bottom and you take some off to go to your factories. But with a splitter, you will always only ever be able to get half the throughput down this line. And what if you've got like a gear assembler or something that needs the entire throughput of a blue belt down there? Alright, so what you do is you'll then do something like this, where you'll just send an entire line down and then put the rest on here. But what do you do with this line? Like, okay, you're sending down the full throughput, but what if you don't need the full throughput? What if you need 75%, 80%, 90%? Or what happens when all those factories shut down? Well, whatever's feeding this line is then done. So then what do? You can like shove a splitter here and have that, but that's the exact same thing. Or you can like try and have a loop that goes down and under your factories, it then pulls it back up and it remerges it, but then you've got a big fucking loop that you've got to look forward to, and you're using an awful lot of belt to try and do that. So what's the best way to do it? Well, I'll show you with my little simulated belt here. Boom, circuit conditions. Alright, so what this does is this does that, but then any overflow also goes into here and it continues along the bus. And it also forces all ore from, or plates or whatever it is that you want, from the top belt all the way down to the bottom belt, so that the bottom belt is fully saturated for the next person. Right, obviously we don't have full belts here, so you can't really see that, but I've done a little simulation so that you can kind of see what's going on. So the plates, the iron plates are coming in at the top here, and they're then getting forced all the way down to the bottom. You can see that they're not going to any of the other lanes except when the bottom lane is full, or when the bottom lane's got like a relatively high amount coming through. It's not necessarily full, but when you've got a full lane coming in, it does balance everything down to that bottom lane really quickly. So how do we do this? So the first off, let's compartmentalize it. So let's get a deconstruction planner, get our robots to do this, because we're lazy. So let's remove all of this. So what have we got here? This is our base splitter here, where you've got the line coming in and the line going out, and this does the exact same as having the line coming in and it going down, except any overflow then goes along that main line. So let's come down here and hook that up there, and then hook that into there, and you'll see that it starts pulsing things to go around the main line. The best way to probably do this would be like that. You'll see it comes in, but only when there's an awful lot coming down here, and you can change how much that is using this splitter here. So if we make that into greater than 6, you'll see it's a lot more comes down here before it starts letting any through. There you go. Because basically what this is checking is how many units are on this single piece of belt. A single piece of belt can hold 8 units of any object. So we've got this belt here, and the way to do this is this is totally vanilla, guys, you don't need any mods for this. As you can see, I'm just using a blue splitter and a piece of red wire between these two belts. You change this to read belts contents and hold, and you say that this is enable and disable for anything greater than 6, greater than 5, depending on what you want. I had it greater than 5, but it doesn't really matter. And that'll force anything down here, and will only let things through here when this belt is not quite fully saturated, but it's probably as best as you can do. And it will allow this to be fully saturated if you've got enough coming in. We just don't have enough coming in here. Then, the next part is, let's get our robots in here, and let's rebuild our priority splitter. Okay, we'll remove that one because that shouldn't be there. Okay. And what's broken? That's fine, that's fine. Really annoying when it does that. That's fine, that's... oh my goodness. That should be that. That should be that. Oh my god, it's not working now. It's always the same. That should be enable disable. That should be enable disable less than 5. Oh, it was that one that was wrong. Okay. There we go. And let's empty out these belts so that we can set the simulation off again. Okay. Oh, chuck some in there. Right, so what you're seeing here is basically the exact same thing on the 3 other lines. So this will force... Let's make sure that these are all the same. So this will force all of the stuff that's coming in this line down into this one, which is the exact same as what's happening here. So it's the exact same circuitry. So this is reads belt contents, and that's greater than 6. I just changed it there. And you're seeing that what's happening is any plates coming in here are forced into this lane, but if this lane can't take it, it gets to go along. This forces them into this lane, and this forces them into this lane, so that it refills that lane after this one's already taken out a lane. And then what you need to do is, once you've got more... so let's go back to this. So what you have to do here is, if you want to go back to 4 lanes, you need to get more production and bring it into this top lane. And then you'll be back to 4 lanes, and then you can go along. Next thing you need to take it off, do that, and then bring this along, down, and then like so on and so forth until you've actually got... So then you're back down to 3 lanes, and then you need to bring in more production. But the thing is, you've got production that's getting wasted because this lane's not overflowing right. But with this, all you need to do is, yeah, you're doing all of this. So what you need to do is come down here, bring in more production, and just shove in a balancer. It doesn't even, splitter rather, it doesn't even need to be one of these with logic or anything like that. Just shove in a splitter, it'll split onto this belt. And then you can have another one of these if you want to force it all down. If that's what you fancy. It's not necessarily needed, but you can have it. And it'll force it all down to the bottom. It's not necessarily needed, I would recommend it. But, yeah. So there you go, that is basically how you priority split off so that you can get a full throughput down to anything that you're splitting, and then force all your belts to balance themselves out without having to do... So I've got... if we grab this, you've got your 4-lane balancer here that you could use to balance out your 4 lanes. So let's get my robots to build that real quick. If you're noticing these splitters are a bit weird, that's from a mod, but you don't need to worry about that. So here's just a basic 4-lane belt balancer that will do basically the exact same as this, but I don't care about ores or plates going from the bottom lane being balanced on the top lane, because I'm only ever going to pull off the bottom lane, basically because that's how I do my buses. I mean, if you do your buses different, then you can do these and then just mirror them so that things are coming off the top. Works just the exact same. Although I recommend only pulling off from the bottom and having your all your production coming in from the top. It makes everything cleaner. But that's just the way that I do it. I'm not going to say that that's the right way to do it. That's just the way that I prefer it. And then you can use belt balancers and do whatever the fuck you like. But yeah, if you're wanting a full lane coming off of your main bus, and you're wanting everything to be balanced back down so that you can take another full lane without having to have these belt balancers everywhere, then this is the best way to do it. Because if you look at this, this belt balancer here uses 6 splitters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 sets of underground belt. Whereas this is using 3 splitters and 3 copper cables, essentially, because all you're using is, well, 3 copper cables and 3 electronic circuits. So you're saving out on 3 splitters and 3 underground belts, and you're saving on space. So whereas with this, you have to wait until after the splitter before you can then take something off, and then what you need to do is you need to then, after you've taken something off, you need to put down another balancer so that it's all balanced. So in order to do... So let's have a look at that. In order to do two splits, if you're doing it like this, that's the footprint you're going to have. In order to do 2 splits with a priority splitter, let's start it off at the same place. Alright, let's take that off there. There you go. That's the footprint you need for a priority splitter to get 2 splits off it, as opposed to this footprint. So you can have a much more compact bus while still having maximum throughput coming off your splits. But that's going to have to do it for this little tutorial video anyway. But do remember that if you've enjoyed this, then you can watch my regular series. You just click on my videos on my channel and have a look at the playlists. Everything's sorted out in a playlist for ease of watching. But yes, as always, I've been CG, you've been awesome, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.